Out of the thousands of worlds in Star Wars, which ones were so dangerous that even the Empire, the most fearsome war machine the galaxy ever built, flat out refused to go? That's exactly what we're settling today, counting down the 10 most forbidden places in the galaxy. Some are cursed, some are haunted, and at least one stayed hidden from Palpatine himself. If you grew up tracing these planets across the films, you'll love our very first stop, the Spice Mines, where the danger starts small and grows fast. 10. Kessel and the Maw. Spice, smugglers, and a cluster of black holes. We kick off on a world every smuggler knows and nobody wants to revisit. Kessel, the spice planet. Picture brutal mines where prisoners are working to the bone hauling glittering, mind-bending spice out of the rock. That's actually the safe part. To shave time off a run, pilots gamble with the Maw, a churning knot of black holes so violent it shouldn't hold together at all. That's the legendary Kessel Run, the one Han Solo bragged about doing in under 12 parsecs. He wasn't clocking time. He was bending the route, threading the Falcon through a shortcut that eats lesser ships whole. Now for the jaw-dropper. Buried inside that gravity nightmare, the Empire built a secret weapons lab where both the Death Star prototype and the planet-killing Sun Crusher were designed. It was so hush-hush that even Palpatine had no idea it existed. And the officer in charge kept it that way by sending the entire construction crew screaming into the black holes. Dead workers can't leak blueprints. So when you wonder where a galaxy keeps its nightmares, the answer is sometimes a weapons lab nobody will admit exists. And the Empire was only warming up. Our next stop is a world where the sun never rises at all. 9. Umbara, the shadow world where the sun never rises. Imagine a planet trapped in permanent twilight, where the only glow comes creeping up from the plants themselves. That's Umbara, the shadow world, and it's every bit as unsettling as it sounds. The locals are pale, secretive, and armed with some of the slickest technology in the galaxy. Sleek fighters, humming weapons, the works. So why is it forbidden? Because the planet itself wants you dead. The wildlife glows because it's hunting you. The vines snap shut like jaws, and the whole ecosystem treats visitors as a slow-moving meal. During the Clone Wars, Umbara sided with the Separatists, and the campaign to take it became one of the darkest chapters of the entire conflict. Their own Jedi general, Krell, secretly fell to the dark side and tricked 2 clone battalions into gunning each other down in the black. Brothers killing brothers. All because one Jedi wanted Count Dooku to notice him. So the real monster on Umbara wasn't lurking in the shadows. It was giving the orders. Jokes aside, at least Umbara never pretended to be your friend. The next world lied to an entire species for decades. 8. Honoghr, the planet the Empire poisoned on purpose. Now, we slip into Legends, and this one will genuinely make your blood boil. Honoghr is the homeworld of the Noghri, a fierce species of gray-skinned hunters whose loyalty became one of the cruelest weapons the Empire ever wielded. Their world was poisoned during the Clone Wars, the soil ruined, and the life choked out of it. Then in swept Darth Vader, playing the savior, offering Imperial aid and cleaning droids to slowly heal the land. Grateful beyond words, the Noghri pledged their finest sons as elite assassins, the dreaded Death Commandos who became some of the deadliest killers in the galaxy. Sounds like a fair trade. Except, the whole thing was a con. The Empire never meant to heal Honoghr. These droids were quietly seeding a synthetic weed that killed off everything else, keeping the world broken so the Noghri stayed desperate and obedient. Grand Admiral Thrawn inherited the lie and propped it up with faked progress reports for years. Vader himself prized these killers, handing whole teams of them out to only his most favored commanders. The truth only surfaced when Leia Organa visited, proved the deception, and turned an entire warrior people against their masters. Soon after, Thrawn's own Noghri bodyguard buried a blade in him at the peak of his greatest campaign. The scariest weapon in the saga was never a super laser. Sometimes, it's a kind face holding a knife. 7. Dathomir, home of the Nightsisters and their dark magic. Picture a swamp world drenched in blood-red light, where fog clings to the ground and the dead don't always stay down. Welcome to Dathomir, home of the Nightsisters. These witches don't touch the Force the way Jedi or Sith do. They work a primal spirit-based magic, brewing potions, hurling green fire, bending a strong man's will with little more than a whisper, even raising fallen warriors as shambling undead soldiers. Their leader, Mother Talzin, ranked among the most powerful Force wielders of her age. And the planet's Night Brothers gave us two unforgettable monsters, Darth Maul and his hulking brother, Savage Opress. That magic ran so deep that when Maul was sliced in half and left for dead, sheer rage and the witch's power dragged him back to life. The appeal to Dathomir, if you can call it that, is raw power that bows to no Jedi Council and no Sith rulebook. The cost is everything else. Giant rancors stalk the wilds, the clans feud without end, and the magic always wants paying. And the detail that still splits the fandom? That power genuinely rivaled the Sith, which is exactly why it had to go. Count Dooku sent General Grievous and a droid army to slaughter the sisters almost to the last. They weren't wiped out for being evil. They were wiped out for being competition. 6. Tython, the cradle of the Jedi that tried to kill them. Long before the Jedi, before lightsabers, before any of it, there was Tython, the birthplace of the entire Order, and maybe the deadliest classroom in galactic history. Tens of thousands of years before the films, Force sensitives from across the galaxy were drawn here and founded the ancestors of both Jedi and Sith. They studied beneath two moons, one bright and one dark, and built their whole way of life around holding the light and the dark in perfect balance. Lovely idea, with one nasty catch. Tython would not tolerate imbalance, lean too far either way, and the planet answered, and not gently. We're talking violent force storms ripping across the sky, and quakes tearing open the ground. The world itself was a living lie detector that could flatten a temple the moment its students lost their center. Stray too far toward either side, and you'd be exiled to one of those two moons to meditate your way back to balance. What makes Tython so fascinating is also a little heretical. These early Force users openly embraced both the light and the dark, the polar opposite of everything the later Jedi would preach. The place sat so saturated with the Force that ordinary settlers couldn't safely live there at all, and much later, a certain little green youngling would reach out through that same energy on a quiet seeing stone. From a world that demanded balance, we dropped to the one where balance burned away. 5. Mustafar, Vader's lava hell. You knew we'd land here. Mustafar is the molten nightmare where rivers of lava carve through black rock and the air itself shimmers with heat. It's where Anakin Skywalker lost his duel to Obi-Wan, lost his limbs, and rose again as the monster in the black armor. If any place in the saga is cursed by personal tragedy, it's this one. The surprising twist is that Mustafar wasn't always a furnace. The lore tells us it was once a far greener world, drained and scorched into the hellscape we know. Even at its molten worst, the Techno-Union mined precious metals straight from the lava flows, a genuinely valuable, if absolutely lethal, place to do business. A truly disturbing chapter came later though. Vader raised a towering fortress on Mustafar above a pocket of pure dark-side energy, building it with the whispered guidance of a long-dead Sith Lord. His reason? He believed that concentrated power could tear open a doorway in the Force and drag his lost Padme back from death. Sit with that for a second. The most feared enforcer alive chose to live on the exact spot where his life burned down, all to try and cheat death itself. He failed, of course. The door slammed shut, yet the fortress kept looming over the lava for years afterward, a monument to one man's grief. Vader learned the dark side the hard way. 4. Moraband, the Sith Homeworld and its Valley of Tombs. This next name is guaranteed to start a fight at any fan table. The original homeworld of the Sith goes by Moraband in Legends and Moraband in canon, after Lucasfilms renamed it, and folks have been grumbling about that swap ever since. Whatever you call it, the place is a graveyard with a pulse. Its surface is ruled by the Valley of the Dark Lords, where the tombs of the mightiest Sith who ever lived carved into red stone. This is the holy ground for the dark side, and the energy runs so thick that even Master Yoda, who journeyed there searching for the secret to surviving death, had to face down a vision of pure evil clawing up from the dust. This is where the very first Dark Lords rose, exiled Jedi who gave themselves to the dark, and the place has drawn dark side pilgrims like moths ever since. For the Sith, the upside was obvious: a vault of forbidden knowledge, ancient relics, and the lingering will of Dark Lords who never truly let go. The downside is exactly the same. Those relics don't just gather dust. They whisper, they tempt, and they twist anyone foolish enough to start digging. Born here, buried here, and somehow never quite finished scheming. That's the Sith homeworld in a nutshell. The Sith built their tombs out in the open. Our next entry hid an entire empire behind a smile. 3. Byss, Palpatine's secret paradise trap. Back into Legends for a properly chilling one. Byss looks like paradise, tucked deep in the galaxy's core, bathed in an eerie blue-green glow, and sold to the public as a luxury world for the wealthy. Those settlers were the prey, and not one of them saw it coming. Byss was Palpatine's secret throne world, and the dark side here didn't just hang in the air. It fed. The Emperor's power slowly drained the life and the will right out of the population. In the comics, this is where resurrected Palpatine ruled a reborn empire from a cloned body, with a whole stash of spare clones waiting in his citadel for whenever the current one wore out. He even lured Luke Skywalker here to try and turn him, and from this hidden throne, he rolled out monstrous new weapons. A gun that hurled planet killers through hyperspace, and machines built to devour whole worlds. If that plot rings a bell, it should. A cloned Palpatine returning on a storm-lashed dark side stronghold, scheming to snare a Skywalker, is basically the blueprint the sequel films borrowed for Exegol years later. And the cruelest part? The New Republic knew Byss existed. They just shrugged it off as a harmless citizen world and never looked closer. The deadliest trap in the galaxy, it turns out, is the one dressed up as a vacation. The New Republic ignored Byss. 2. Malachor, the world the Jedi forbade. When an order that charged headfirst into Clone Wars and Sith plots declared a planet off limits, you'd better believe there's a reason. That planet is Malachor. Beneath its surface sits an ancient Sith temple that doubles as a massive superweapon, powered by a single enormous kyber crystal and able to snuff out all life for miles around. Thousands of years ago, the Jedi launched an all-out assault here, but the weapon misfired mid-battle and unleashed the Great Scourge, an event that turned every fighter on the field, Jedi and Sith alike, instantly to stone. A whole battlefield petrified in a heartbeat. After that, Malachor became a forbidden legend, a horror story whispered to younglings for generations. Naturally, legends pull people back. Master Yoda himself steered Ezra Bridger, Kanan Jarrus, and Ahsoka Tano toward Malachor, where it set the stage for Ahsoka's heartbreaking duel with the fallen Anakin. They even found the broken Maul hiding there in exile, and true to the planet's reputation, not one of them walked away from Malachor unchanged. And for the deep-cut crowd, the old legend's tales go further still. There, a devastating weapon once tore a literal wound in the Force, a scar that lingered long after, and that the Jedi never fully understood. 1. Exegol, the hidden Sith world even the Empire feared. And here we are, the most forbidden place in the entire galaxy, a world you cannot even reach without an ancient Sith relic to guide you. Exegol lurks in the unknown regions, lost in the black, found only by following a Sith wayfinder through space that swallows ships that wander in blind. Down on that lightning-scarred surface waited the Sith Eternal, a fanatic cult that spent decades in the shadows preparing for one thing: the return of the dark side to absolute power. They grew clones, raised an army of true believers, and built a colossal fleet. Every Star Destroyer armed with a cannon strong enough to crack a planet in two. All of it hidden, waiting for a master who had cheated death. Robed cultists chanted in the depths while that armada sat ready to crush every last pocket of resistance in a single galaxy-ending stroke. So, why does it top the list? Because this was the Empire's true beating heart, and almost no one inside the Empire ever knew it was there. While stormtroopers marched across the galaxy, the real power sat quietly stockpiled on a world that appeared on no standard map. When even the people running the galaxy don't know what's hiding in the dark, that's exactly when you should be afraid. And that's our countdown. 10 worlds where the smartest move is to keep on flying. From the spice mines of Kessel to the hidden lightning of Exegol, this galaxy is full of places that don't want you and won't miss you when you're gone. If this kind of journey is your thing, you'll love our channel, so make sure you subscribe. Until next time, may the Force be with you, and may it keep you far, far away from every single planet on this list.